What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Teddy. With me on this episode is a man, the myth, the legend. You know him as JC.
Hey, everybody.
We also got the man behind the magic, Joe Garcia.
Yeah, we were late because we had a little issue with the thunderstorm, knocked out the electricity, and most of my electronics had to start everything back up again.
You just stop doing your rain dance, Joe. That's what it is, man. Quit it. That's enough already. All weekend long, you were doing that thing.
You got to do the Zemo dance. Do your Zemo dance.
And last but never the least, all known from the Countdown Seat of WrestleCast, it's the one and only Mike.
What's up? I'm Mike. I love wrestling and still like Cesaro at WrestleMania. Love always wins. Boom.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Except when it comes to Alexa Bliss, because she's already going to get married. So sorry, JC.
That's all good. That's all good.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. Pour some out for JC.
Cheers, JC. Congrats, Alexa.
Congrats, Alexa.
I mean, isn't it really congrats, Ryan? I mean,
I think so.
He clearly won.
He clearly won. Yeah. Congrats to Ryan Cabrera for marrying Alexa Bliss. So,
is she still possessed though? Like, how does that work out?
Oh Lord, dude.
What?
Nothing.
I'm saying that my wife's in the room next to me. That's the fun part about all this.
She's I can hear you, JC.
Dude, your wife can like state your list of like your top 5 wrestling women anyway. She knows.
Yeah, she can.
So
she
I mean,
state my list of top 5 wrestling women. You could state that off the top of your head.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm surprised Ted hasn't made a real nice background like you did. JC figured this out, so I can't believe you haven't put something up for you.
We'll figure that out later, man.
Yeah, we'll worry about all that later. It's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
AJ maybe?
AJ Lee. Yeah, she's pretty cute.
All right.
Well,
JC's fantasies are next week's episode, guys.
Really?
This week we're talking all about Marvel. This week we're talking all about Marvel because we've yet to review the finale for Falcon the Winter Soldier. We actually spent last week talking about Mortal Kombat. So this week we're going to finally talk about the finale of Falcon the Winter Soldier. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, why the hell are you watching it?
What's wrong with you, honestly?
It's been a week.
It's been out for like over a week, yeah.
Yeah.
Out like 10 days ago. But we can't wait to talk about that. But first, I want to make sure we talk about the big news that dropped today. Marvel Studios dropped their sizzle reel for what we're all calling Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And man, oh man, was it pretty intense and pretty exciting. For those of you who haven't seen it, do the thing. Head on over to our Facebook page after this show is over to catch not only our first glimpse of Marvel's Eternals, but also all the dates for Black Widow, all the way up until Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So we got release dates for everything, and hopefully none of those release dates move anymore. But we're going to talk about it right now, and I want to hear from you guys. So if you're watching this show and you had a chance to check out the sizzle reel, what are you most excited to see, to watch? Let us know in the comments below. Which Marvel Phase 4 film are you most excited for? And just in case you missed it, I'm going to go ahead and call them out right now. Black Widow, which we all know is coming out in July. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings dropping September 3rd. Eternals, November 5th. Spider-Man No Way Home, December 17th. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness next March. Thor, Love and Thunder next May. One big drop that we found out today, Black Panther 2 is actually going to be known as Wakanda Forever. That drops on July 8th of 2022. Captain Marvel 2 is going to be called The Marvels. That drops November 11th, 2022. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, February 17th of 2023. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. And Marvel said, why not? They just threw in a little bit of a teaser, the Fantastic Four logo at the very end, but no release date. Quite peculiar. But they have plenty of options. So Right now, we have movies up until May 2023. Nothing for July, nothing for November, December that year announced as of yet. So they have a lot of options on where to put that movie. Mike, this is the reason why you're here, man. Let us know, what is the MCU film you're looking forward to the most in Phase 4?
Oh man, like honestly, I don't know if I can just name one of them because like when they started coming out, I mean, like I think I read online it's like supposed to be pronounced Shang-Chi, but you know, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings just looks awesome. Like we talked about that a little bit. I think last time I was on or a couple shows ago when they released that trailer. But Eternals, we finally got some looks at that.
Yep.
That just looks awesome. And the story that they're talking about is really going to lay the groundwork for where all or a bunch of these like superhuman type people come from, and really kind of lay some groundwork for where kind of all the MCU is storyline wise like originating from. And then when they threw up their Black Panther Wakanda Forever, like how do you not tear up, man? That's just like you know what happened with Chadwick Boseman. It's so sad. If you've been following it, they've been talking about, you know, they're rewriting the story. They're not going to recast him, but they're going to try to honor his legacy while going deeper into Wakanda and stuff. And, you know, Wakanda Forever, he just made so iconic after the first movie. It becomes such a big thing that, like, just tears up. And then the Marvels. Like, if you don't know why it's called the Marvels and how there's 3 Miss Marvels pretty much being involved in this movie, it looks awesome. Like everything just coming up, and then Fantastic Four, like you said, they teased that at the end with no date. That makes me think like maybe Fantastic Four, because there's no Avengers movie in Phase 4, right? Like
not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the previous phases kind of ended or had an Avengers movie, and then you go on. So
Yeah.
this makes me feel like maybe they're doing that because Fantastic Four is going to be a story that brings a lot of things together and then shoots us into 5 from there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I can honestly pick one. They just, even Ant-Man, like, how do you not like Paul Rudd in Ant-Man? Like, he's been great.
Don't go
everything
there.
he's done.
Don't go
What?
there.
What?
Oh, Joe, no, not get out of here, Joe. Paul Rudd is a national treasure.
Yes,
That guy is
he is.
hilarious in everything he does. He was such a great, like, even in like Endgame, he's integral. He brings so much humor. Like,
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he's a god in that
Ted
one,
thinks
too.
it's horrible movie franchise. He hates Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man, period. We had a big old discussion. It was him and Rob, and oh man, it was bad.
I need to see exactly what you think I said that made me
I was
seem
gonna
like
say,
I
Joe,
hated.
That's
Ant-Man
fake
and the
news, Joe. That's fake news.
Come on, Joe.
I'm not saying like either of the Ant-Man movies were like the top of like the movie making MCU, but
They
dude, I
weren't
will
bad.
watch those over and over again because they're just hilarious. They're
They
like
are.
they're fun, and that's
Good
what they're
time.
supposed
Yeah.
to be.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
They're good movies. They're fun to watch. I agree with
Yeah.
Mike wholeheartedly.
Okay,
Ted's the one
yeah.
that likes to shit on him.
He turned out you said.
Yeah.
So to clarify my answer, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I believe it. All right.
Mhm.
And to clarify, Joe, Rob thinks the best MCU movie is Ant-Man.
And the Wasp, the second one.
And
Really?
and that's what
Yes.
I disagree with. It is not even in the top
When
10.
we set up our Marvel bracket, I think it was
Yeah.
a year ago. I got the rankings, and I knew he really loved the movie because when we went to the screening and watched it, he came out of there. He rated it a 5 out of 5. That's the only time I've ever seen Rob give a movie 5 out of 5.
Wow.
So when he gave us our
He
rankings,
just whatever he
Wow.
thinks.
that was number 1 of his list of rankings. And Man of the
Wow.
Wasp was his number 1. favorite movie.
I'm taken
Like
aback
MC.
by that, JC. I never knew he ranked
Yeah.
the movie that high, dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the movie. If that doesn't tell you what Rob's personality is, I don't know what else was. The Wasp was the number 1 movie for him, in his opinion.
Maybe it's
yeah.
because of the comedy. There are some funny parts. There are some funny characters, and
It was,
man.
it was a truth serum.
I think why
Yes.
that movie was so good and why he probably appreciated it, and I said this when we reviewed it, it was the right movie at the right time because it was the first MCU movie post Infinity War. Everybody's down. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on? You needed a little comic relief to get you back up, to get a good story going, and then they leave you with dust, and he's caught in the quantum realm. So where do you go from there? So I think it was the right move at the right time. It covered everything. You got what's his face recapping everything. Like you wished
Luis.
Endgame.
Luis
You wished Endgame opened with Luis recapping. Okay, so what happened was this, and then he went like
and my
this,
cousin.
you know, yeah,
Like-
and I am inevitable, you know.
That's a Disney Plus series right there.
Yes.
Like recapping the whole MCU with just Michael Pitt. Oh, I would love that.
You know what?
Yeah.
Luis needs to
I've
have a
seen
spin-off series, dude. I think that would be hilarious, man.
That would be great.
Maybe it'll be a what if
Yeah.
Luis was Ant-Man.
What if
Oh
Luis was-
man.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him
Mike,
that big still saying, "Hey, my cousin saw this girl at the club the other day." I was just like, "Oh man."
What's up?
Now, Mike, I know how you feel about hashtag campaigns, but like a week ago, I started campaigning for release the Luis recap, and I sent it to Kevin Feige. So hopefully you can actually jump on the bandwagon and
That's
help
one I'll
out.
get behind. You know,
Okay.
All right. I've seen it. I've seen the recap. They released it up until Infinity War, and it was only at San Diego Comic-Con. For whatever reason, they never released it online officially,
interesting.
and it's just
somewhere
terrible.
Somebody's got a recording.
No,
somewhere.
it's they're not good. I've watched the recordings and they're not good. You don't get anything from it because it's like hidden behind someone's head or someone's chair. But
Yeah.
it was so funny, and it's mind-boggling that they won't release something so simple that was like
It makes you
years
feel like
ago.
maybe they have a plan for something bigger with them. But who
It'll
knows?
be
Like,
it'll be released as part of the 8K special edition.
No.
The phase 1 through 3 box set.
The Infinity
please.
Saga 8K special edition.
That
Blu-ray.
comes in a gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting off track here. Joe,
Yeah.
what is your most anticipated MCU movie?
Oh, we actually have a comment from one of my buddies here, Rudy Campos Jr. Thanks for watching. He put Fantastic Four. That's all I'm waiting for. That sounds like what my buddy
Understandable.
Rudy would say. He's
Yeah.
a big Fantastic Four guy. He still loves Jessica Alba in the original movie. Who doesn't, you know?
Who
Yeah.
doesn't?
Who doesn't? But I think I'm most excited to see what they're going to do with Eternals. I think Eternals to me is really intriguing because that's going to, I guess, be the movie that's going to show how big the MCU is going to expand, you know, because there's going to be so many things that they can do with this particular film. They're already setting things up with all the introduction of all the other movies that are going to be coming up. But the one that I think is going to be very pivotal is going to be the Eternals. That's the one that's piquing my interest the most, just because we don't know a lot about it, but there's so many things you could do with it. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that. Maybe is it going to kind of hint at the Secret Wars? What kind of, you know, segue are they going to have to maybe even the Fantastic Four? You know, lots of things that can happen with that movie. So to me, that's the one that you really need to kind of look out for. I do like Shang-Chi, though. I thought that one was really well done because you have the introduction of the real Mandarin, not the abomination that we got in Iron Man 3. Hi, I'm Trevor. I did love Trevor, though. He was
That was
funny.
Iron Man 2, wasn't it? Or 3?
Yeah, Iron Man 3.
No, it was three. It was three.
It was 3?
Yeah, it was
Okay,
3.
mixed
Trevor
up.
was hilarious, dude. Remember when they were playing
Yeah.
soccer and he's asleep and all of a sudden he wakes up. Ole,
Ole.
ole, ole, ole. He's annoying as hell, man.
JC, what about you, man? Favorite or most anticipated Phase 4 movie?
Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Yeah, No Way Home is
No Way
definitely
Home.
the one. I mean, there's been so much hype about that one. It's definitely the most hyped one. And then Multiverse and Madness are the two I'm really looking forward to. Multiverse, of course, I think that's where we're finally going to find out where WandaVision leads is to. I think they've set that up and they're going to leave us waiting a bit.
Mhm.
I do want to say this whole sizzle reel, I swear half of it was written by Pixar because it had me in tears, man. I
was
really
really
feel
good.
like Pixar wrote this. Just even from before we get into the announcements, all the backstory that built the
Stan Lee,
characters
yeah.
that have passed, the actors that have passed, Stan Lee providing the commentary. Like, seriously, did the writers of Up do this to us or something like that? That's what it felt like going in. But those are the ones I'm interested in, and I like your theory that Fantastic Four might be bringing it all together. And I wonder if we may see an X-Men cameo somewhere, maybe like an end credit scene at the end of that movie where they finally tease that.
They're gonna
You
give
know?
you Wolverine, JC. They're finally gonna give you Wolverine.
Maybe
Dude.
they will. Maybe they will. Maybe Deadpool shows up too. You know?
I
There
think
you
they're
go.
going to start planting those seeds slowly throughout these movies. They may already have, in some of these series, but I think we'll start getting that at least planted in there.
Hopefully, we
with
see
some of
Deadpool like JC wants. That would be hilarious, man.
I still want the Deadpool cameo in every MCU movie since we don't have Stan with us anymore. Drop the F-bomb, make it PG-13, go on, go for it.
I just want him to bring out Wolverine for JC because JC's like always saying the big finale. You know,
I made that prediction
your
one
cameo.
damn time.
It's gonna be Wolverine, so they need to do JC a solid and finally bring Wolverine out.
Shoot your shot.
Every
shoot high.
movie.
Yeah,
Every movie.
every
Wolverine.
movie.
Yeah, we got to be careful though, because at some point he's going to be as old as like Ric Flair. They're going to want to bring him out as Wolverine. Like, come on, guys! He's like all
the same. Sort of guy doesn't age. You know. I think though he's really pushed on Ryan Reynolds. He better be in Deadpool 3. So I think they've got something going on with that. So whenever they do Deadpool 3, I think there's a very good shot.
I trust Ryan Reynolds, and I think MCU will let him, for the most part, do what he's done with the other two. So
yeah,
whenever that comes out, I think it'll be great.
Did you all hear the rumor? I kind of saw this, and I don't know how much credit there is into it, but they were saying that somebody somewhere had put that they want to bring back Killmonger for Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. I don't know how in the world you would even bring that character back when it looked like he had perished at the end of the original movie.
Like in most movies, I mean, you never, unless you see his body dead and buried or whatever, you know, there's always a comic book way to bring him back. I think it really more just speaks to Michael B. Jordan's performance, and it was such a great performance. And then especially with the unfortunate passing of Chadwick, you know, you want a strong actor to kind of come in there and you know, bring something back to that place. I've heard rumors, but I think he's done some stuff for the What If series. I don't know if they're actually going to bring him in, like basically bring Killmonger.
Unless they run to some multiverse where he is Black Panther. It's the only way I could think of plausibly where they do it. And they'd have to get more flowers from that multiverse because, as we saw at Black Panther, they burned everything else.
I mean, that's in Endgame. That's how they got more pin particles by time traveling
back in time.
Yeah,
right. So it's always there.
That's going to be the go-to strategy. Just go back in time. So, yeah.
It's one of those things. Marvel can tell us like magic, and we're gonna believe it because we don't question anything they do.
Yeah.
I heard the same rumors, and I'm not against it. Michael B. Jordan's a fantastic actor, and they'll come up with a way that makes sense, and it'll all fit. And I actually don't hate the idea because Shuri, Black Panther's sister, she's really the Oracle. Like, she belongs in on the radio, on the comms. She's the brains of the operation. I know a lot of people are pushing for her to take over the Black Panther mantle, but her best kind of situation is to be the eyes and the ears of everything. So I kind of want her in that seat, that pilot seat at all times.
Kind of like the way the Punisher has his guy out in the truck calling the shots.
There you go.
Yeah,
exactly. So if they could figure out a good way to make that happen, I would be most happy with that. But if they decide to put her in the suit, I also don't mind.
Umbaku.
Umbaku.
You know, that guy really stole part of that he was in the original Black Panther movie, and then he's right there with them in Endgame.
Yeah,
like if you watch the Flash when they're running across, he's right there behind the main group. He's such a great character. I kind of agree with you, and I saw some people talking about that too. Like, I know a lot of people pushing Shuri because it's a sister, and there's relevance to that in the comics, but it would have to be a really big change to her character from where she's at now. So maybe, if there's a third Black Panther, you get to that eventually. But I was kind of thinking maybe the idea that several people try to don the suit and realize what a task it is trying to, so, M'Baku or his friend that was like kind of turned his back on him, but it was on the guard of the border.
I know that guy.
Have some of those, or even Okoye, You know, some of those trying
That
to
would
take
be
over
dope.
that mantle and realizing how truly difficult it was, and then that kind of makes the T'Challa character look all that more relevant because he was able to do it, and these people are figuring out how difficult that was. That was just my thought, kind of in general.
I think what the real task of making this sequel to the Black Panther is, how are you going to impart the vision that one T'Challa had for his people? What kind of legacy is he leaving behind? The power was never the Black Panther. The power that the Black Panther had was the aura, the presence, the message that he sent to his people. So even though he's still not here, he still imparts his ideals and his values in his people. So I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic in how they're going to carry that legacy that was, T'Challa, and how are they going to put that into this next film? It's a daunting task, no doubt.
It really is. It really
Yep.
is. Before I get to my MCU pick, I kind of shared the news earlier before we went on our live stream. We have a movie giveaway today.
Whoop, whoop.
We're giving away some digital codes for the movie Wildcat. Wildcat, I have it. I have the synopsis here. It features actually Georgina
Goldie Hawn?
Campbell.
Oh.
It features Georgina Campbell, and we all know Georgina from Krypton, who
Yes.
played Light as Odd. So we all loved her in that
Hashtag
role.
bring back Krypton.
Bring
Bring
back Krypton.
back Krypton.
Come on, Mike. You can get behind that one. I know. So.
There you go. Georgina is also from Black Mirror, and it also stars Luke Benward.
She was also in the first season of His Dark Materials.
That's
she
what I
was-
saw, and I don't remember that. But
She
yeah.
was the reporter killed by Boreal when he squeezed her. She had the butterfly demon, and he killed her.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Kated don't remember because he doesn't like His Dark Materials.
That was probably the part of the season I skipped.
Episode 2 through the rest.
He snoozed through it and just watched the last episode.
Yeah.
If you're wondering about how to win a digital code for Wildcat, there's two things you got to do. Well, three things kind of. You need to make sure you're following us on Facebook. Number one, right? I want to know which MCU movie you're most looking forward to. Drop that in the comments, and then also share this stream.
And
So-
Cash App Ted $5. That's what.
Yeah. You're betting for it.
Yeah. What was that movie? That's George Washington. I can't remember. Let's see here. Wildcat. Wildcat is the action thriller featuring Georgina Campbell and Luke Benward. Synopsis, real quick. When an ambitious reporter stationed in the Middle East is taken captive by a dangerous militant group who believes she is a CIA operative, she must find a way to survive and turn the tables on her assailants before they carry out a deadly terrorist attack. So we have, I'm not going to say how many codes we have, but we have a good amount of codes to give away. So again, I'm going to repeat this later on in the show, but if you want to have an opportunity to win a digital code for the movie Wildcat, all you got to do, follow us on Facebook, comment with the MCU movie you're most looking forward to in the comments on the stream, and then share the stream. Share the stream to your Facebook timeline, and we will pick a certain amount of winners by the end of the night, and I will get all your information and send you guys the digital codes for Wildcat. And I'll also repeat this later on tonight.
LTC.
Okay, so like and share. I'm putting that for myself right now. I'm just
There you go. There you go. Last, let's see. You know what? Before we even figured out what every movie was going to be for Phase 4, I probably was most looking forward to either Eternals or Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm going to say Love and Thunder, primarily because the Thor franchise has been on the up and up, and Taika Waititi's taking it to another level. He's already claiming this is going to be the best Marvel movie ever, and not to mention he's also added Russell Crowe and Christian Bale to the list of the cast. So I'm most anxious to see Thor: Love and Thunder because the cast is phenomenal, and Taika Waititi's already talking a big game, and I want to see exactly what he does.
He
with it,
really
so.
wants to be better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's really what's going on.
But he won't in Rob's eyes. But
No.
he won't in Rob's eyes.
I'm sure with him that was tongue in cheek. I mean, he's such a funny guy. I mean, he does the voice. I mean, I know but he does the voice of Korg.
Yeah.
And when I watched Ragnarok, that was just like one of my favorite characters immediately.
Oh yeah,
because he was so hilarious and
Korg was funny.
Yeah, he really was.
I like when he came into the room, Mike. Remember, and he's like, "What are you in here?" He's like, "What are you in here for?" He's like, "I may have started a little revolution."
No one showed up.
Yep, no one showed up. And what was his friend? His friend, the insect. What was his name?
Meek.
Meek.
Yeah.
I spoke on him. He's dead. Meek. I carried him. Oh no, Meek's alive.
Meek's alive.
Ted, quick question on that. So they've kind of spoiled some. I mean, they told us they're bringing in Natalie Portman.
Right.
So they're going to do the female Thor. Do you think this is only for the duration of the movie, or do you think Natalie Portman is going to be bringing the female Thor character into future movies? Because I kind of heard both sides from different people, different groups.
I mean, once she takes the mantle, she's worthy for life, ideally, right? Is that kind of how it goes? Or
you're grandfathered in, Jason?
Marvel can, set the rules however they want to set the rules, I think. But if you're asking me, Chris Hemsworth is now the longest tenured Avenger in the MCU. Mm-hmm. I guess. No, yeah, he would be the longest tenured one. So he's probably
Hulk, a different actor, but yet Hulk.
But yeah.
Yeah,
not the character, the actor. Chris Hemsworth, the actor, is the longest tenured actor in the MCU. So he's got to be close to being done. Like even if you like the character and you like what you do, like there's just a certain point where you're like, I gotta go do some other things from now on.
You would think so, although I have heard he said he wouldn't mind keep doing it as long as Taika is in charge of the franchise. So,
I'm sure he makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. So
yeah.
Just wondering because I mean, Natalie Portman's another amazing actress, and the characters were okay in the first two, but like you said, it's almost like Fast and the Furious where it got revitalized. With Ragnarok, now they're bringing these characters back. So they're bringing Natalie Portman. They mentioned her in Ragnarok. They mentioned her character. Like, she didn't break up with me. We broke up with each other. They mentioned her in a few of the Avengers. So it'll be interesting and to see how accurate that storyline is to, whether we've read about the storyline from the comics involving her. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Once again, let us know what Marvel Phase 4 film you are most looking forward to. Drop it in the comments below. And also share this stream for the chance to win a digital movie code for the movie Wildcat. On to some headlines. Fandom is back. DC Comics Fandom, which was a massive success last year, is coming back. And this time is coming October 16th. 2021. So be sure to set those calendars, and we'll probably do a stream, right, Joe? A live stream following the event. He's shaking his head no, but inside he's really saying yes.
Joe wants to do a live rewatch of Wonder Woman 84.
No,
that's what he wants.
I don't mind doing the live stream, but we've been here before.
I feel like this year they're gonna probably go even more all out because they saw how great it was last time. They got some good ideas. I think they'll make it a bigger spectacle even this time, and they'll figure out some even better ways to enhance it. So I'm looking forward to it a lot.
It would be a good day. It would be a good live stream to do, during the day, so you could do some day drinking as you're doing the show. It'd be that much more interesting.
There you go. That would be cool. Other headlines: Castlevania, the final season trailer has dropped. That's on our Facebook page. Go ahead and check that out. Tomorrow is Star Wars Day. If you want to find a list of Star Wars Day deals, head on over to StarWars.com, and they have discounts from video games, products on Amazon, Build-A-Bear. I mean, there's a whole slew of items that are going to be on sale tomorrow. So be sure to check StarWars.com. Go through the entire list of all the Star Wars Day deals. I'm sure you're going to find something good.
There's a lot of Star Wars games on sale right now on Steam, PSN. priming one. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is $20 right now. That's gotten great reviews. So check it out. There's a lot. Just search Star Wars to see what you find.
Do it. Why don't you do it? Dexter's coming back, and we finally got our first official teaser for the Dexter reboot series. Head on over to our Facebook page again after this video's over, and just go through the timeline until you see Michael C. Hall's glorious smirk as Dexter. I cannot wait for that show. I'm gonna be doing post-show reviews every single night that it comes on. It's gonna be absolutely epic. Finally, gentlemen, I want your you can say something, Mike?
I was just going to say, Ted, with stuff like this, it always takes me back to Hawkeye from Endgame. Don't give me hope. Like, you're going to reboot it, and it was such a horrible last season. Just make it somewhat better. Say, hey, by the way, HBO, pay attention to this. Game of Thrones. Reboot that last season, man.
I knew it was coming.
Redo season 8. Redo season 8. And gentlemen, I want to get your thoughts on this. So, breaking news: Finn Wittrock will play Guy Gardner for HBO Max's Green Lantern series, and we got an official synopsis. It's a story spanning decades of galaxies, beginning on Earth in 1941 with the very first Green Lantern, Alan Scott, and all the way through 1984 with cocky alpha male Guy Gardner and half alien Bree Jarda. They'll be joined by a multitude of other lanterns, from comic book favorites to never before seen heroes. So quite interesting. Joe, I'll start with you, man. Your thoughts about the Guy Gardner casting, or does this kind of get you at all interested in the Green Lantern series?
I'm going to proceed with caution. Let's put it like that. While I do like the actor's choice, because he's stereotypical lead man for to play Green Lantern, and they always go for the chiseled guy, with the great looks and whatnot. And of course, you got that in this particular actor. But I just want to see what they're going to do with the series as a whole. I think I have good faith that HBO Max is going to have a faithful adaptation and do a wonderful job, because they've been doing some great stuff as of late, with their streaming service. So just add another one, on the list there of much watch shows on HBO Max. So I'm excited. I'm intrigued, but I'm proceeding with caution. I don't want to get too excited and overhype everything, because WandaVision broke my heart. So I'm not going to let that happen again.
What? All right. Okay. JC, what about you, man? Your thoughts on this news?
I'll see how it happens. I'm interested in the whole series. I'm not very too familiar with the history of the Green Lantern, so this will be something new for me. I'm really going to enjoy that. I know this series is the reason why they made Snyder change that last scene in Snyder Cut, but it's whatever. It is what it is. But still, I'll watch it. I'm interested in it. I'll put my HBO Max subscription to good use. So I'll be good with that.
And then after the Green Lantern, you're going to go ahead and cancel, because this is the way.
No, I mean, it's free with my internet, so I can't really cancel it. So
the good man, I get
Don't give it to me
free.
for free. Just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it free as well through AT&T. So shout out to you, AT&T.
Yeah.
Missing from the synopsis was Jon Stewart, who we were told kind of when this series was announced, he was going to be one of the main characters, if not like the main character. So kind of interesting. They dropped Alan Scott and Guy Gardner, but left out Jon Stewart. Interesting.
Maybe they're waiting because of the casting.
Maybe.
Could be.
Big announcement about
Possible.
it.
But, I mean, you said it was up through the 80s, so Jon Stewart's more 90s, whatnot. So it might be something later,
Who
90s, 2000s.
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows how they're going to mess with this timeline? Because even like Hal Jordan's supposed to be GL before Guy Gardner. So the fact that they're throwing Guy in the 80s is kind of already like a manipulation of what we would expect as fans with the timeline to be.
Hey, let's give a quick
Mike.
shout out here. We have a comment from a viewer here that's watching us on YouTube. Pure Ten Hook. He says, "Sup? I've been sub since Celebrity Fan Fest. So thank you for watching, sir."
Nice.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, he gets a big shout out.
Yes,
Pure
he does.
10 Hook.
Yes, he does.
Thank you so much.
Can we also mention that Celebrity Fan Fest is working on a new event for 2021? I don't know anything, so I'm not pretending like I know secrets, but I
Uh,
have spoken to a couple of reps already, and
Don't you get me
they're
excited,
working on
Ted? Are we
something
gonna go
big.
or not?
when are we not going to go to Celebrity Fan Fest?
You just
man?
said
When,
that.
why would we not go? Jay?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
Why
always a
would
good
we
time.
not?
I don't know. Maybe you got to get your hair done or your eyebrows done that day or something. You know,
Yeah, I
Already
gotta
done,
get.
sir,
I probably have a
already
haircut that day.
right?
So
Yeah.
I'll let
Best
y'all know.
eyebrows in the business.
Mike, what about you, man? The news on the Green Lantern series.
No, like I mean, the Green Lanterns always seems like a fun thing to go through. I kind of echo what Joe said. Like I have a lot more faith in HBO Max to put together something that will be entertaining and intriguing. The Watchmen one they did was just
Incredible.
yeah, and it was just like the one thing, and then they're like, "No, we're good." And you're just like, "Oh, all right," but no, I look forward to that. And similar to JC, I don't know all the lineage of the people that have been Green Lanterns. I know the general story. I've read some and seen some of the stuff about the different rings or the different colors. Kind of what that means. So it'll be interesting if they go into that at some point, or that's maybe down the road if there's if this is something that sticks around for a while. But I did find it interesting. I know JC mentioned again about it affected the Snyder scene, but it was like HBO released this info, so I was like, oh yeah, I did Green Lantern stuff too. So like now every time a DC thing gets on HBO Max, you can be like, oh yeah, I
Hold
actually
on.
shot that character for my movie too, actually. So
That news
just
came out when the movie came out.
I
Exactly.
actually had a Lobo scene in my movie that they made me cut. So
God damn it. He mentioned that they made him change that when the Snyder Cut came out.
I actually had Mr. Freeze in my movie, but they made me cut him too.
All right, well, here's some DC news you might be interested in, Mike, because this rumor has it Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum are working on an animated sequel to Smallville. The TV series,
Hey,
where
Are
all
they
the
gonna
actors,
match the comics.
all the actors would come back. I'm assuming they might follow this
Not
season.
all
11.
the actors, I guarantee you.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have to recast Chloe to provide the voice. They
Oh
do
my
bring-
God!
why? Why would they have to do that, JC? Wink,
There's
wink.
another series on HBO and Stars. You could probably go find out why.
Just
That's
Google
that's,
it.
that's talk
That's
for another
your
time,
commission.
Ted.
But it's intriguing. They've been kind of joking about it at Comic Cons, and people are asking them if they would come back and do it. They've always joked maybe something animated. They have a lot of source material to work with as far as the Smallville season 11 comic series, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways they can go from there and have it eventually lead into the Crisis on Infinite Earths final scene we got for that. It just kind of closed everything out. So it's just a rumor right now. I wouldn't be opposed to it, and HBO Max is the perfect landing spot for it if they do it. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Michael Rosenbaum, much better Lex than what's his name? Than the guy from the
Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah.
Can't disagree with that.
He's arguably the best Lex of all time. I would say that.
I know
So-
that you're talking about like the best Lex Luger. So Luger,
Lex Luger? The total
only
match?
Lex Luthor.
Luger. He said Lex Luger.
I don't think Luger was ever an LWO, but that's another story.
No, he was not. He was All American though, and that's a good segue into our new Captain America here.
It is. It is.
Hey.
And for the reason that we're all here today, we're going to be talking about the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert for the entire episode. And we can probably start out with like the series as a whole. WandaVision was a tough act to follow, especially because it kind of tried some very new and bold ideas. And for the first time, Marvel was kind of working with like a mystery suspense type of series. A lot of questions and a lot of just mystery surrounding the entire WandaVision series. And I loved that. And it was new and it was refreshing. And Marvel had never done anything close to that before. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier was, following a really tough act. And I think for the most part, I really enjoyed it, but it didn't have almost like the same sort of stakes or emotional investment for me as WandaVision did.
At the end, I would say it started off slow. Obviously, with WandaVision, it got progressively like bigger. Like you had that big finale, which yes, it wasn't as Wasn't as good as the hype it got, but it was still a good finale for WandaVision. You know, I like the finale too, but I mean, for
I guess Joe
Can't be-
didn't. I forgot about that.
everything, he's almost as bad as Rob. But anyway, the thing is, like, you know, and the first 2 episodes was a little slow. It was a lot of talking, a lot of setup on it, and I think that's why Tina didn't really watch after episode 2. But as it kept going, then it started to get action, then it started to pick up. And the beauty of a TV series is you can tell a full story and kind of spread it out. You can't really tell this whole thing in a movie. But I liked, as it kept going, how it got progressively better, how they started bringing other elements of the MCU in. We talked about it when it first started, like, what happened to all these people? What are their normal lives? Like, not even superheroes can get bank loans and things like that. So,
Yeah.
But it was called the Falcon the Winter Soldier for a reason. And a lot of it was really about them, both characters, finding out their new identity, who they really are. And in the end, it was a commentary on so many levels on the world today when we get to the Captain America moniker. So, but we'll go into detail about that a little bit later. So,
Yeah, definitely. Mike, what was your mindset kind of leading up to the finale? How did the series kind of?
I mean, look, like you said before, like I'm a big MCU guy, and you know, there was a lot of talking and dialogue in those first couple episodes. But if you were invested in Falcon and Bucky and their stories, then to me it was amazing because you've seen, like I know you, Ted, Winter Soldier is probably high up there on your MCU list, right? And remember, okay, there you go, right? And that's where we first see Bucky and him and Steve's relationship with Steve trying, the whole arc of Steve trying to save him, and then you have Sam, which look like I kind of made the joke early on. Its first 2 Disney Plus series, they said, hey, we're going to deal with grief and loss and just the spiral it put you on. That was WandaVision, and then we're going to deal with racism, just like. And it's funny because I've seen some things where people are like, what? It wasn't dealing with racism. In the first episode, Sam goes home. He goes to get a bank loan, and like, oh, you're Avenger. That's cool. Oh, we can't give you a bank loan. Hey, can we take a picture with you?
Oh, can I have a selfie? Yeah.
We can't help you, but you're still like just straight up to me, slapping you in the face with it.
Yeah.
And just dealing with it head on with realistic things that minorities would have to deal with, specifically Black people. So Sam's whole story of, I know, old Steve gave me the shield, but I don't know if I can actually do this. And then, kind of leading into the stuff with Isaiah Bradley, where it wasn't just, I don't know if I can live up to Captain America. Should I live up to being a Captain America for everything that they have done to, the people like Sam and Isaiah? And then, Bucky dealing with, I killed all these people. I may have been brainwashed, but I killed a whole lot of people. And, the whole story at the very beginning with the old man and, that he hangs out with, and, you find out that he killed his son. I think you figured out pretty early on, even though at the end of the episode, they show you that picture. So just him dealing with that. And I know I told Jason this. I don't think I came back and said the show. That third episode when they're in the police station and they're doing that impromptu therapy session. And to me, the whole crux of this series was Bucky saying, well, maybe he was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, he was wrong about me.
Yeah.
To me, that was a whole crux for both of them. For Bucky, it was I worth saving? Because they even had that conversation in Civil War. When they're flying to the Siberian base where they think there's those other super soldiers. Bucky's like, why did you do this? I don't think I was worth it. And, Steve's like, it was. And that was the crux for both of them. So to me, each episode was like, here's some action, and then here's some really intense story. And I loved it. I enjoyed it the whole time. So
There you go. I can't argue with a lot of that. I did like Bucky's sort of arc. I did like Falcon's arc. I think it was just for me there wasn't as either high of stakes, or I really don't know what to say. I think there's a lot of things that I was kind of maybe expecting and it didn't kind of go a certain way. Zemo, for one, was always sort of teased as like the big bad, and his outfit was teased really early on in the first
ultimately,
teaser.
he could have been. I mean,
Well, and
We had a big bad in this show, and they suffered like nothing at the end. We'll talk about that later. There is someone pulling all the strings.
What's up, Jay?
Jay wants
Hey,
water. Here you go.
Go
he
to
looks
sleep.
like a.
Go sleep, Spider-Man. Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Are you the only person in the house capable of getting water? Like,
Apparently I am. At
He's
least
a water boy.
I'm at least opening it, and I'm a water boy. I'm at least opening the thing so he can go get water for himself.
oh, okay.
That's got the strength, I guess. Mike, you mentioned that scene in the third episode, and like you said, that really is what this is about. Like, they're trying to find out who they really are in a post Steve Rogers world.
Mhm.
Let's kind of talk through the story arcs here. You got Falcon, trying to come to terms with, trying to sympathize with all these people that are being labeled as terrorists, with the flag smashers and everything like that. And ultimately, that fifth episode where they get away from everything and go back home and do that, he's really trying to refine himself and shed that Falcon identity. And ultimately, he does. That's kind of the whole point. On the Bucky side of it, he's trying to fully shed that Winter Soldier identity. Now, obviously, Wakanda helped with the whole brain thing. They gave him the arm, which they have the backdoor entry into to find out. That was crazy, Not just smart. Let's leave a failsafe.
The other part, he looked so hurt when they did that to him. His face, he was like,
But why?
"Oh,
yeah, it's like, why?
I mean, I get it. No, I get it. But like his face, was like,
but by the end of the series, he's finally able to make amends on all the bad stuff he did. Even though he was brainwashed, he did it. He's finally able to come clean to that old man you mentioned, and he fully sheds the Winter Soldier identity.
right.
Even to the point where he was playing like he was brainwashed with Zemo in Madripoor, and they said Winter Soldier attack. He went all crazy with it. So by the end of the series, it's not Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's Captain America and the White Wolf. And that's the beauty of it,
To me, it's
Close,
it's Captain America and Bucky Barnes. I don't know if he necessarily has to be White Wolf. It's
okay.
I would have liked
Bucky
that.
Barnes. He's just that guy again. And, and I know, like, because they changed the names, but that's the way I saw it. Like, he was just Bucky Barnes again. And if he wants to get involved and be a hero again, that's open.
Mm-hmm.
But if he just wants to be a regular guy and live his life, then he does that.
And who knew that Bucky was right-handed?
Yeah.
I really thought he was left-handed after all that. You figured lefties like myself and Mike, you figured we could be, proud of the fact that the guy with the crazy arms left-handed. No, he's still right-handed. Like, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Still.
Yeah. So
I kind of thought that the series started off slowly, and it kind of progressively got better as far as their character development goes. There's some things that they could have done better, but I think overall, with only 6 episodes, I think they did a great job with what they had in front of them. Kind of weaving this intricate storyline with not just Sam, but also Bucky, But
yeah,
I'm kind of thinking that at this point, why they're doing the reason that they're doing these series leading up to, their next phase in the MCU is that maybe some of these beloved characters that we like so much, such as Sam and Bucky and, Wanda, for example, even Loki, maybe we're kind of seeing that they're going to be phased out because they have these new heroes on the horizon. I think what we're kind of seeing is them gradually starting to get lesser roles in the MCU. I think they're going to start giving more of that shine to some of these other up and coming characters, newer characters like, Captain Marvel, Shang-Chi, see what happens with the Eternals, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda. I think what's going to happen with what they were setting up with Sam and Bucky is the dynamic where they make peace with one another, they make peace with themselves. Things start becoming better for them near the end of the series. But ultimately, we see that transformation, as you all had stated, from them being Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like JC said, to now this is Captain America, and it's no longer Bucky Barnes, just Bucky. He's going to be something more along those lines of, I think they're going to be the leaders of this new Avengers that'll be formed. I think that Sam will probably head up that, and we're gonna have the new introduction with this new cast of characters coming up in this next phase. But it was great to see their kind of story arc kind of come to a close a little bit, where we kind of learned a lot more about those particular characters as people, and how they were able to kind of navigate what happened after the snap, which I think was very interesting in that regards, because we really didn't see a lot of that in WandaVision. We got glimpses of what was happening, but with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think we finally have the full gravity of how this snap affected a lot of people, and what happened after that, and what life was like for the ones that were here left behind, and the ones that actually came back and trying to, again, adjust themselves and, be members of society once again. It was a very interesting, very well done, I think, story arc that they did here. So I enjoyed it. I didn't have a lot of expectations for it coming in, and I was just happy with the product that they put out.
Did y'all get the sense when they were kind of explaining how life was like during those 5 years, how peaceful it was, countries working together? Did y'all ever get the sense, because this popped into my head, man, Thanos was right? I mean,
No.
on some level, the way the world was, I'm not saying he's still a dick, but I'm just saying the point was,
he kind of caused though most of the complexities that they were facing in this series.
JC, are you willing to possibly be deleted just so
should I survive the snap? I did the internet thing, and then
okay, yeah.
Truly, at the end, what Thanos was trying to portray or get across is society can do a lot more with less. Everybody enjoys this life of abundance, and you don't really need all that. You can still have a life, but you don't need everything else that comes with it. And when you have that snap and you lose half of the population, the water's cleaner, the air is cleaner, there's more food, there's more everything, but no one's happy. Everybody's miserable.
Yeah. See, I mean, I know there's a lot of joking and stuff on the internet. There's like Reddit groups called Thanos was right or Thanos was wrong or whatever it was. But like, if anybody's seriously trying to say like, well, maybe like you killed half the population, not of Earth, not of our universe, of everything. Like, no, that's not. Get out of here.
Yeah, I know. I just did that.
I know where you went to high school and you were taught life was precious and come on, man.
The ends don't justify the means.
But I don't know. It's just this one really went into depth about that, but it's funny how, I mean, okay, the biggest thing coming out of the finale, Isaiah Bradley was the biggest one. He makes that comment of 5. I don't know. They would never make a black man Captain America, and I don't know a black man who would want it. And that's ultimately what Sam was dealing with, and how was he going to be okay taking up the mantle? I'll ask this question of you, Mike. You're the biggest MCU fan I know. Did the new suit for Falcon, now Captain America, meet your expectations and what you expected of it, and how did it look to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff previously of the Falcon Captain America suit from the comics, and I mean, I think it looked amazing. I think that tease at the end of 5 was really cool, and then to kind of just see him like coming into the building and crash in, then you finally see it. It looked nice. He was fighting, like, even in his fight with Backtrack the Leaper, he was trying to fight like the Falcon for a little bit. Then he was remembering he had the shield, and once he finally realized, he was Captain America, and he had to use that as part of his fighting. He knocked him down, then just went off to save the people. But I think the suit looks good. I think, and not to totally go back to what we were talking about before, but y'all may have seen some leaks from the Miss Marvel set for the Miss Marvel character in her uniform. Yeah, I think Disney Plus has done a great job with some of the costumes for Sam, for Scarlet Witch. The one for Miss Marvel looks really awesome. I think they're doing a really good job with some of these. So, the suit looked awesome.
And the Hawkeye one, you see the Hawkeye one?
Oh, the Hawkeye, yeah.
After they had wrapped, it's like finally comic accurate, which is amazing. Daniel's on the stream. He says his favorite Phase 4 MCU movie is Eternals. Can't argue with that. I feel like that can go as big as Marvel wants it to.
Oh, by the way, Ted, I forgot to mention earlier.
I know you're going.
Stark family reunion.
The brothers are back.
You know what else someone saw? So Kit Harington playing the Black Knight, right? The last line that his character says to the brother is, "Next time we see each other, I'll be all in black." Because he was going out to the Night's Watch. So it's just kind of a funny coincidence. He winds up the Black Knight in the Marvel movie.
There are no coincidences in Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've been planning this. This is a crossover.
It's and if they haven't been planning with it, they'll piecewise a throwback shot.
Yeah, like Tom Holland was in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, like that one more thing like that. But ultimately, obviously, like we said, this is about racism in America. Ultimately, at the end, he has that big back and forth with the government officials, with the senators, with people that are voting for these accords or whatever they are.
The GRC,
the GRC, and it makes me want to know that that's great and all, but politicians aren't going to listen to real life. They don't give a shit. To be honest with you, but
no, but you gotta have that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta try.
You gotta try, but in this respect, that was the right scene at the right time, especially with the verdict on the George Floyd case. And you hope something like that. If people aren't going to listen to protests, everything else going on, I'm not trying to get political here, but maybe they'll listen to something entertainment. I know some people are going to get mad about this being thrown out there, but it's not surprising to me that something like that would happen to a character like Isaiah Bradley, knowing the history of this country. It's I'm glad they didn't shy away from it. I'm glad they said, hey, these are the sort of things that went down. It's beautiful that they added him to the museum, and I hope they added, because who knows how many other super soldiers that were experimented on also get added to that as well. Maybe that's something they cover later on. But I don't know if there's been any backlash on Disney for this, or the Marvel writers, the MCU for this, but I personally think they covered it well enough that it fit in the story, but it gets people thinking about how things are going in real life. Did y'all feel the same way, or do you think they should have done more, a little less with it? Or
I understand when some of these like real life topics and issues are kind of in your face, and you kind of are not looking for it to be so obvious or blatant in some cases. But sometimes you just can't beat around the bush with certain things. A soldier in the United States who gets treated like a criminal throughout his life is unfortunately not something that's new to this country. And I'm not trying to say like the country is bad or the government's bad. That's not it. But we have certain rules and policies in place where vets, United States veterans, go to prison for long terms for some things that are sort of on the fence or not as bad, or they get deported if they're from another country, but yet they should be American citizens. And if they do get deported, they don't have family or connections in those countries that they're being deported to, but the government sometimes does it because it's just the rules are in place, but the rules are not necessarily correct for certain situations. And so when things happen, they need to evolve a little bit. I understand when people sort of get a little bit out of shape about certain things, even like the cops from Baltimore giving Sam a hard time early on in the series. It was kind of like, I can see someone saying, really, you're going to put that in the show based on what's happening in and around the country. But if you would Google Baltimore police officer or arrested or something, there's a huge long history of corruption within Baltimore's law enforcement officers. And that doesn't mean like let's badmouth all of them. That just means like there's a lot of issues in certain elements of law enforcement, especially in Baltimore, that need to be addressed. These things are happening simultaneously. I don't mind it. It sheds a little bit of a light on these issues. you want to argue like it's not up to the shows to solve these issues, okay, you might be right about that. But sometimes it just takes addressing, and it takes conversations, or at least the ball to get rolling in a direction to resolve some issues.
And here's the other thing, Ted. Marvel has always been political in its comics.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, Captain America's punching out, Adolf Hitler on the cover of one of the first ones or whatever, that the whole one that they used in the museum. There's that, from that original. The X-Men are a complete story about like
civil rights movement,
the civil rights, and just people who are different and not, and so
it tracks.
And so I don't think the writers of the show were like, oh, hey, let's pull this out of left field, like this, like they just brought it out of nowhere. These are things that have obviously been going on forever. And for what it's worth, when we talk about Isaiah Bradley in that last episode, he had to change a little because he was, and completely justified, completely anti-government. He didn't think Sam should waste his time trying to be Captain America. And Sam realized, you said the government would never let a black man be Captain America. So he said, I'm not waiting for your permission. We've been doing this already. Sam gave me the shield. I'm going to be Captain America because I believed in Steve, and I believe that I'm capable of doing this. And he finally realized that he was a good man. The whole series, he was trying to de-escalate the Flag Smashers, talking to Carly, trying to reason with her. He wasn't, we go back to John Walker. We didn't even talk about him much. He wasn't, going and saying, I'm Captain America, do what I say, He was trying to bring peaceful resolutions to things. And, all this stuff has been going on. And I know it's uncomfortable for people, but it's because we've made it seem like certain groups are the one, it's a political thing. And these are just the way people are being treated. And some people want to ignore it. Some people don't want to believe it happens on a regular basis. And it does. I mean, it's a reality. So
yeah, and it doesn't mean it's 100% of the time. It
Sure,
doesn't mean
exactly.
that it doesn't mean that it's across the board and we have to change every single aspect of it. No, but we can improve in certain areas and we can improve in certain aspects. Like I just mentioned, we're deporting veterans, and it's something I kind of started looking into about a year ago. And I was probably thinking like, it's probably not a big issue because we're not hearing about it on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. But there's been thousands of veterans deported over like decades.
Yeah.
And it really, that like breaks my heart, coming from a family with nothing but military servicemen and veterans. And so Isaiah Bradley's story really resonated because I'm like, it's not far off from how some have been treated in the past. JC's right. We haven't talked about Johnny Walker at all. Before we talk about Johnny, Daniel also says, wished Falcon the Winter Soldier had a Steve Rogers Cap cameo. I do too. And it didn't have to be a big thing. I just want to see a smirk or smile or just a phone call saying like, you did good, Sam. Something like that.
Yeah.
That'd have been cool.
I agree for the most part because I was Team Cap for his whole run, but I did see some interesting things that people brought up.
Yeah.
To the effect that you maybe hold that off because then it seems like the Caucasian Captain America has to give the approval, which he already did. But let these characters have their moments.
Yeah, if you have the cameo, that's all anybody's going to talk about in this series. You want this to be about Sam and Bucky. This is what you want the story to be about.
And plus, it could have been Mephisto. So
nice.
Yeah. Here's what it should have been. It should have been the very last scene. The show should have ended, by the way, with Sam and Bucky taking Isaiah Bradley to the museum. That should have been the final scene. I don't know why we went back to Louisiana and like they said nothing. But it should have been, they're in the museum, they're showing Isaiah, the memorial, the stuff they did for him, which is incredible, by the way. And then like off in the corner, you would have seen the guy with a blue cap just like kind of lift his head up a little bit and just a smile. Like he didn't have to say anything. If you just knew that Cap was there and he was just like giving his approval without saying or doing anything, it's just enough. Am I saying the show is bad because he didn't have it? No, not at all.
I think you are, Ted.
I'm not saying that at
God.
all. Daniel also says at least we got a James Rhodes cameo, of course. Rhodey,
Yeah.
of course, that was awesome. And he also says, let's see, Fantastic Four movie to end Phase 4, maybe because they didn't talk about Blade, and I feel like that might still be a Phase 4 thing. And he also says the suit was dope for Sam, which is also correct.
Ted, I will bring something up too about the finale. This is one of the things that the Marvel solo movies, and I guess kind of the series, one of the things that you can kind of be like, hey, why is it going on? They're in New York City. Rhodey has already been in the show once. Where was him and Spider-Man during this thing? I mean, I'll throw that out there. That is one of the things the solo movies tend to have a little issue with, when you want to go to that typical superhero trope of the one hero has to save the world. But we're in this mixed universe now, and you're in New York City. Rhodey's already been there once, and we know he has the Iron Patriot suit, if nothing else. And then Spider-Man, I mean, he's in school, but it's a school night. He can swing out.
But this is pre Far From Home or after Far?
He was going back during his year at school.
That's right.
We're expecting to be pre Far From Home, but not by a lot. By a few weeks or maybe a month tops. Yeah.
Supposed to be. I was gonna.
Maybe he was already across the ocean on his senior trip or something. Who knows?
I don't think it was there yet.
we didn't really discuss Johnny Walker a lot, and Johnny Walker,
bring him up. Go for it.
Johnny Walker kind of had a redemption story in this last episode. Showing his. We saw the dark side of Johnny Walker. And saw him at his lowest of lows, and then I think he kind of had that come to Jesus moment with himself after going back, talking with his wife and whatnot. Kind of realizing the wrongs that he has done and still wanting to be a part of being able to help other people. At the end of the day, the guy kind of seems like he still has his heart in the right place. So he kind of got vindicated in the end, being able to step in and help at a key pivotal moment when it looked like that armored vehicle full of the politicians was going to just fall over and kill everyone inside. And he kind of fought and brought him back up, kind of redeemed himself, and at the end he becomes known as the U.S. agent. You're just a U.S. agent.
And he's so psyched about it too. That's
like, I'm back.
At this point, he's a little naive, though. I mean,
he is.
It's like, okay, you feel like the serum made him a little dumber because he doesn't realize he's being used at this point. I
want to say this nicely because I don't mean this as an insult, but he's a soldier and he follows orders. And, he talks about when he won his 3 medals, it was the worst day of his life, but he does what he was told to do. So when the serum, you say that, but the serum kind of enhances what you already are. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to say that in a mean way, but in a sense, I think he is kind of naive because whatever the government tells him to do next, especially because he got off and, didn't really get in trouble they took his benefits away, but then Elaine showed up and saved him.
Elaine does the dance of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and
there you go, way to go,
nailed it. Thanks, Wikipedia. I got it right in front of me. But I'm interested, like you said, he's a little naive. Like he's going to follow orders. He's not really associated with the government anymore. He doesn't have this rank, but he's going to be. She kind of has him in a way brainwashed. She's kind of pulling on that. She's going to be using him as a sleeper agent. I mean, if you know the history of the character. Which, when Black Widow comes out, I expect to see her because she was originally supposed to appear in Black Widow, and that would have been a little backstory. And then I feel like you're gonna have to go back and watch Black Widow and then watch this over again for her scenes for it to fully make sense. But she's using him for something, and that's gonna play out in Phase 4, I think.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if she's in cahoots with one Sharon Carter. People don't usually do things for you just out of the kindness of their heart, especially at a high level like this. They're going to want something in return. In other words, you owe somebody a favor, so I think his card is going to get called and he's going to have to do something or face the consequences. We'll see how this winds up going. But another thing I want to come back to is throughout this series, Sam always keeps referring to this, the shield doesn't feel like it belongs to him, and I think when he finally got his new costume, and it donned the colors of the red, white, and blue, but white being predominant, that kind of made it his suit. You know, this is who I am right now. This is my character. This is who Sam is going to be as far as Captain America goes. And I think the next thing we're probably going to see be upgraded or be given a personal touch is going to be the shield. You know, because the shield at the end of the day, it has to feel like it belongs to Sam. Right now, I believe he's still under the assertion that it still belongs to Captain America, you know, Steve Rogers. I think he needs to go ahead and add his own personal touch to it where he actually fully embraces the whole Captain America persona. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the shield.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because I have a question. I don't know if y'all ever discussed this on the show because I've only been coming on recently. At the end of Endgame, in the battle, Thanos wrecks his shield, cuts it in half, right? That's the whole scene where he's got half of it before they get into the big battle. And then old man Cap shows up with a nice new shield, which is the one they're using now.
Right.
They never really talk about where that shield comes from. Was it remade modern day before Cap went time traveling? Was it made during his trip or during his, where exactly is that shield from?
It is peculiar. So I have to preface my answer by saying the only way the time travel makes sense for me in my head, and this also is in alignment with the writers, not the directors, but with the writers of Endgame. Once Cap places all the stones back into their proper locations, timelines, then the main MCU timeline is now intact, and he now resides in it.
Right.
And so he continues on from wherever he was, the 1940s, I believe, or 1950s.
Late 40s, post World War II, so late 40s.
I think it was early 50s when he goes back at the end, like the end scene, when he goes back to Peggy. I think, yeah.
So he stays there and lives on from that point forward. So he has to grab a shield. It doesn't necessarily matter where he gets it from, but any time he gets a hold of the shield from Cap, he now owns it. So
is it like when Thor went back in time and got Mjolnir from the old timeline? Okay,
exactly. But he had to put that one back,
right?
Because that one belonged in a different timeline. But Cap now resides in the primary.
Yeah, and I know there was
once
some
all the stones are
discussion between the writers and the directors, but it seems like you're right too because of the Loki show coming up, where they're talking about having to clip all the branches that he created. So,
it makes me wonder if you're saying he goes back and he takes the shield when he's supposedly gone. So the shield's no one's gonna be using the shield until he gets thawed out later on. Is the fact that he took that shield and he handed it off to Sam, did that create another timeline where there's a Captain America that never gets a shield?
No, because you can't it's not Back to the Future, JC. We've already figured that out.
No, there's another
Anyway,
so your past is the past, and you can't change the past. So you can only change a timeline by creating a new one. But once he takes the shield, OG Cap still has the shield, going through all of his adventures and all that, and never dances with Sharon Carter again.
They weren't
Sharon.
They weren't really going back in time. You can't really go forwards and backwards in time when you want to get into quantum physics and quantum mechanics. You can go sideways.
I don't want to get you started, Joe.
I'm just saying.
In Marvel physics, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I think we got a comment. Was it Dan Wynn? Asked us to talk a bit about Sharon Carter. We've mentioned her already.
Oh, yeah.
No, not that much. And I have a lot to say about her.
We said, we mentioned just briefly, but
I have a lot to say. Listen.
Who was surprised by that, though?
I was, but before we get into that, let's talk about Carly, because I think Carly and the Flag Smashers and that whole thing.
Sharon first, and then we'll get to Carly.
First. We're leaving Daniel in suspense here. Come on now. All right.
Well, we had a comment from Ryan. What was Ryan's thing? I know he was going to shit on it.
He's hating.
There he goes.
We'll get to
Season finale is weak.
Yeah.
You're a hater, let's see. Now, real quick. So about Sharon, I was not surprised she was power broker. I called that early on. I said it's either going to be Sharon or it's going to be someone in the U.S. government.
I think we both called it because I think it was we said it was either going to be Sharon or it was going to be Zemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know. I never thought it was Zemo because literally he's in prison. He can't run.
But he still
a
was pulling his
criminal
El Chapo
underworld.
moves from prison, Ted.
I don't know if he could. He's not that.
I was kind of
All right.
hoping for Arnim Zola, like a Krang, computer in a body.
Oh God.
That'd have been cool. No, my thing with Sharon is this: as soon as I saw the finale the first time, I had the thought in my head like, what if she's just going really deep undercover? Like, I don't see this big of a heel turn coming from Sharon Carter, Cap's ex, if you will.
Well, here's the thing: what if it's not a heel turn?
It
What if
now
she's been?
that's what I'm trying to tell you. I thought
Okay.
deep undercover, she's not able to make this big of a heel turn, so this is all a facade, and she's going to just take down whatever organization she's planning on working for, whatever.
No, she's bad, Ted.
I rewatched it, and I'm like, no, I'm actually all in. Sharon Carter is like a horrible person,
She got turned.
and
What
yeah,
if she's always been? That's what I meant.
yeah, I'm all in on this idea now. I think Sharon Carter is a real POS, and we really need to worry about her. We really do. We
Okay,
have
like-
to worry about. She was the villain. She was getting the Flag Smashers to do what she wanted, right? She's the one that kind of put them all around the world in the first place.
She was
doing
a
these things.
mastermind, definitely.
She was, and she
Yeah.
faced no justice whatsoever.
One
So,
could
yeah.
argue that Zemo was working for her too. What do you think about it?
No, I don't know.
No,
about
he's had
that.
dealings with the power
car
broker.
bomb- I'm just saying.
The
you know?
car bomb. No, listen, the car bomb is interesting because Elaine is blaming Zemo, but Zemo didn't have a look like he was proud about it. He
Yeah,
kind
he
of
did.
looked
He was
like
smiling. He had his
Smirk and
he
smile like,
kind
yeah,
of looked like it was he looked like it was a good accident. It didn't look like he was in
Zemo
charge
had something
of it.
to do with it. That was his butler.
And then Elaine, oh, was it his butler?
That was his
Yeah,
brother.
that was his brother.
Oh,
Bomb. That
I
was the
had
whole
no idea.
That's why I said he
Well,
pulled an
see,
El Chapo.
I
was
didn't
big-
recognize the butler at all.
His biggest
Uh,
thing. It's about taking out any super soldiers. He wants to destroy
That's
the serum.
Zemo, right?
Yeah.
His thing. Maybe
So
on
then
some
he's
level,
going after U.S. agent next. Is that what you're saying?
Well, see,
I would think.
what
you
I
know-
think is they're going to wind up working together on, the Thunderbolts type team that they seem to be teasing, where they get a lot of these villains that are in the raft
Uh-huh.
and, get them working in a Suicide Squad like team where they have to go on missions for the government. And
Yeah.
so I think that would be the interesting dynamic if they ever do that, is Zemo and U.S. Agent having to work together when, like you said, Zemo wants to end him just as much because he knows he's taking the serum.
But
Yeah.
something had to be set up to where those members of the Flag Smashers, all super soldiers, were in that car at the right time. Something had to be set up. Zemo, as resourceful as he is, he had to have some help. And that's where I think Sharon Carter comes in. So he might have gone to Sharon to get some help. And why was he so? I mean, you kind of look back on it like he had no problem with Sharon Carter's help in Madripoor.
Well, she wants to
So-
get rid of the super soldiers as well because they pose a problem.
Yeah, they
Well,
what she's trying.
does he know she is the power broker?
No.
Maybe he contacts the power broker through other means and doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her, he's working for her, but the point is he went through the power broker to get help in that
Right.
setup.
That I got you. Yeah.
In an indirect way, he's working for her, at least for that part. And now he's Zemo seems at peace now. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna chill here in the raft for the rest of my life. It's fine.
Sharon Carter, I think, is the epitome of what we've seen sometimes in this MCU, like reading comic books and things like that. Not even just in the MCU, but comic books in general. Sometimes the villains that are created are a product of the system itself, and sometimes heroes can take a turn for the worst. And I think that's exactly what happened with Sharon, because she inherently didn't start off being that way. She was taught to become this villain because the country that she fought hard for, the friends that she fought so hard for, everybody kind of turned their back on her and went about their merry way and left her to kind of devise a life that she had to create from nothing. So she had to be resourceful and use the training that she had, did the best she could. So right now, you know what? Since they didn't give two shits about her, she's going to give two shits about them. She's going to go ahead and use them just like they used her, So I kind of like this heel turn. It's showing you that She is a product of the system itself, you know?
And she really has nothing left. Peggy's passed. Steve, we assume if he's even still alive, we don't know how much longer he's going to live. Old man Steve Rogers, but
Too old for her now. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
was she? I'm trying to remember now. Was she snapped? Was she around the whole 5 years, or did she come back and not?
I think she was around the whole 5 years because you can't have the type of pull that she had.
That's exactly what I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was getting at.
She
'Cause if
took
she was
advantage
snapped,
of the
there's no way she
situation.
becomes the power broker in 3 months.
Yeah,
It
no.
feels
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, she took advantage of the situation, Mike. Think
I would
about
have
it.
to assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, because she said
Even
it was Madripoor was a different animal, all on its own.
Mhm.
So when
Yeah.
everybody was snapped away, it was prime pickings for her. So she assumed that persona of the power broker. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
And
agree.
it's even after all that happened, after all the end game and everything, everyone else gets a pardon but her. So
But-
it's
But she says that. But if she's been the power broker for 5 years, does she care about that as much at this point?
No,
Like,
I mean,
she's got this criminal organization. She's got this gig basically running the underground of this this Madripoor. I mean, Steve tells her that she's like, or Sam does, excuse me. Tells her, "I'll get you a pardon." She's like, "Oh, okay." And then she shows up in New York City anyways.
yeah.
Right? In that finale, and he's like, and Sam thinks she's risking her, getting arrested to help them out, but she's like a mastermind now.
The ultimate goal was for her to get the pardon, and obviously for what she sets up in the end credits is
Right.
to infiltrate and see what she can do.
Yeah.
That was the prime spot for her to come back, be a hero, get her pardon, and now she's free to do what she's going to do from the inside. She's playing it as a double agent, and she's going to be the big domestic bad villain going forward, at least through Phase 4, I think.
I think she's going to form the new Hydra. Basically, that's what they're setting her up for.
Right.
She's going to have a lot of elected officials, a lot of contacts all over the world. So she's going to be, for all intents and purposes, the mastermind behind the new Hydra. But we got to get back to talking at some point about Carly and what happens with the Flag Smashers at this point, because we're thinking that they're done. At this point, you're thinking, okay, well, Carly's dead. She dies at the hands of one Sharon Carter, because she was actually going to wind up, it looked like she was going to pull the trigger on Sam,
Mhm.
So she knew, I guess when she was shot and she was there with her life just, slowly dissipating, she just said sorry, and basically perished. She was just a victim at this point. The mastermind was the one who shot her. And the interesting dynamic there is Carly knows who the power broker is, and she says nothing to Sam. I found that very interesting. Even when she was holding the gun on her, she still didn't say anything. It's like, why keep that a secret?
I felt like that's what Sharon was afraid was about to happen.
Yeah, and it's like, why
Right?
keep that a
Yeah.
secret? Like, you need to say something right away to somebody, because he just happened to come in, and then he's like, well, what are you doing? And, Sharon's acting like the victim. Oh, she shot me, and I'm just like, she doesn't
But I
say
think-
nothing.
But that's also part of it for Carly, right? Because she's young. She's basically a kid still. I mean, she was what, like 20, 21? She seems like she's a real.
But she protected her identity. That's the thing that just blew my mind. She did not say anything. She took it to her death. The secret of who the power broker was.
She got killed before she could reveal it, because
She wasn't going to say anything. She was engaged with Sam. She wasn't going to tell him.
I didn't tell him there. She might have if she lived, and Sharon wasn't going to take that chance.
It was either her
Yeah.
or Sam, so she wasn't going to have the chance. But it's just amazing to me how she just kept that as a secret, So I'm just like, okay. And the Flag Smashers, once you go ahead and kill the head of an organization, such as a terrorist group, such as the Flag Smashers, you kill the head of that group, but somebody else is going to take the reins. The Flag Smashers aren't gone; they're going to come back again. And their network is still intact, So it's going to be interesting
their
to see.
ideas are, but they don't have any super soldiers now to use.
But they have a lot of
one.
people, though. They have contacts
they have
everywhere.
people.
They have a lot of people that they supported, a lot of people that, as we've seen, helped them on the way,
Yeah.
provided hideouts, sanctuary for them. they weren't really terrorist thugs. I mean, in government eyes, obviously they were, but they had an ideology, and it's not going to die with Carly and the other members of the Flag Smashers.
But it was a terrorist organization because they incited fear
Carly
and killed
made it
people.
one.
Carly did make it one. That was her.
Carly made it one. For the most part, they were robbing, they were stealing supplies.
They were killing people. It's like they were killing
episode
people.
1, they blew up a building.
Yeah, they were killing people. They didn't care. These are casualties. They
Like,
didn't care.
we found out the rest of them kind of had like a conscience and all that, and Carly was pushing them too far.
They never killed anybody. They might have destroyed a building, but they made sure nobody was in there.
No,
it wasn't until they get to that one place that they take from those people in there, then they blew that up with people in it.
They had casualties though. The Flag Smashers weren't just, we're gonna blow up an empty building. No, they were inciting fear. They were killing people. Even Sam told her as much as well, and she's like, well, they're necessary casualties. But she understood what she was doing, but she still was following through with her mission. So that mission is not over.
She got a little too bloodthirsty, and that's what we're starting to question.
That mission's not over. You still have that ideology out there. So it's going to be a dynamic now that's going to be added into maybe, if we revisit, Falcon and the Winter Soldier again, if they have another movie or whatnot, to see how the Flag Smashers are going to, play a part in here, and also Sharon Carter. I think that's going to be really good. Maybe it can give Winter Soldier, a run for its money as one of the best MCU films.
Well, speaking of that, right, the writer of Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. It wasn't in the sizzle reel, so I don't know how far down the line, but they're working on a Captain America 4 with Sam at the lead. So that may be Phase 5, it seems like.
And we were introduced to his family too, so they could make it personal,
Yeah. Oh, speaking of released the Bucky and Sarah cut. You've heard about there? There's more footage of him flirting with her.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would love to see what kind of game Bucky's
I kind of want to see them wind up together just to piss Sam off. You stay away from my sister.
That would be a funny dynamic for them.
Yeah.
I did love the Carly character, though. I think Erin Kellyman's a great actress, but I think she's getting a little typecasted. You played this role twice. What else can you do?
And you get dyed both times. Well,
yeah, I wouldn't,
pretty much.
I wouldn't mind seeing her. I see where else she goes from here. But let's get a little different role. I think she's shown that she can play this character at least. Or this
what else does Disney have the rights to? She's going to wind up in a Pixar movie as a leader of a.
I was going to see what's on the horizon. Pixar, or Wreck-It Ralph 3. Maybe she'll come in and make fun of herself as being typecast or something like that.
That would be kind of funny.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Ryan's comment. I don't think he said the season finale was weak. And the only great thing from that episode was the costume and the fighting scenes. Ryan, what are you talking about, man?
I think Ryan and Rob need to have their own spinoff show, dude.
Ryan, Rob, and you, Joe. And you.
I'm not as bad as they are. I might be bad, but I'm not as bad as them.
So, yeah.
But it's hating everything. Yeah. All right. It's all good. I'm just kidding, Joe. Let's see here. Final thoughts about the finale. I liked it. I liked the fight sequences. Listen, I didn't talk too much about Johnny Walker. This arc for him was really fast. It's really not enough to go on and have it be like come off as genuine. So I'm not really in on his redemption
You're
story.
not a fan of the Johnny Walker.
It needed more. It was too quick. It was like overnight.
I don't know if it's a full redemption arc. I think it's he went to 100 and they said, okay, we're going to pull you back to 75. I don't think it's full you're a good guy now, because he's still going to do things in his way. I just don't think he's a complete bloodthirsty murderer, or at least not all the way.
Attempted.
I think he pulled it back a bit.
He attempted to kill Sam,
right?
In the previous episode, and then the end of the finale, he's fighting alongside Bucky, chatting it up with Sam, do some small talk. I'm just this is not working for me.
Disney was low key testing the waters with Johnny Walker. They wanted to see what the fan reception would be to him. I think what they maybe want to do is revisit that to see if he comes out with his own series. So He wasn't. It wasn't. Let's say he was. Oh, the fans didn't welcome him with open arms. They were kind of like, "This Johnny Walker's kind of a dick," you know.
That'll be interesting.
It
Lastly, I'll
was
just
still Country Fair Captain America. That's really what it
I was
was.
just gonna say, wish Captain America.
True that, dude. True that.
more like great value, not Hill Country Fair. Don't talk
That's
about
true.
Hill
Country
Country
Fair's
Fair.
got
Dude.
some good stuff. That's true.
Exactly.
I don't know. Some of their stuff's kind of sketchy, man.
The old '80s
all
literal
great
black and white
value is
generic.
sketchy.
Don't ever get the cheese slices, Ted. You'll thank me for that. You can leave them out in the sun and they won't melt, bro.
I'll take your word for it, man. Lastly, I'll just say I love Bucky's story, right? That one probably resonated the most with me, and also love Sam's arc. I thought that was great. Overall, I enjoyed the series a lot. I enjoyed WandaVision a little bit more, though, just because it was something new and innovative that Marvel was trying out. And I'm trying to figure out what else I could have got from this show that I didn't get.
By the end, this got me excited for Loki. I'll say that. I think it brought us down slow, but it built up enough, had a good climax, and now it's like, okay, 2 for 2. They're doing pretty good with these TV series, and Loki is going to be something completely different. It's going to be
Owen Wilson's in it.
travel police. Owen Wilson. Wow, the time travel police.
It's gonna be like WandaVision, JC. It's gonna get
I can't get
weird.
my nose
Weird's a
cracked,
good
but-
thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is
Joe,
Loki going to mess the timelines up even more? I just can't.
No. Yeah.
So
I brought it up on social media the day. The sheer number of theories that Loki is in WandaVision, he's in Falcon the Winter Soldier, that he was this person in Endgame, like it's everywhere, and I'm sick of it. Like, no, Loki is
I
not.
still think he was Noob Master 69. It wasn't that guy that brought out the commercial a couple weeks ago.
That I would be fine with, but no, Loki is not hiding in disguise as every single person that we get.
That's Mephisto. Come on, we know this.
There you go. Alex
that's-
Lee's on here. I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi, but I'm not a huge fan of Aquafina. Aw.
Mhm.
But I think we're all
Just buy-
excited for
just
Shang-Chi,
buy the
though.
HB water. It's fine.
Oh my God.
he's not going to have anything to do with what that means.
Mhm.
Appreciate the comment, Alex. Thank you very much, sir. Shang-Chi looks dope, man. I can't wait. Yeah, looks great. Joe, what about you, man? Final thoughts on the entire series or the finale for Falcon the Winter Soldier?
I thought it was a decent enough job. I said, with 6, episodes, I think they just did a really good job with the source material and the limited time that they had. WandaVision, I believe, had 2 more episodes. So given 6 episodes and what they were able to accomplish, I think they did a marvelous job. While it wasn't on par,
No pun intended.
with everybody with everybody's expectations once they saw WandaVision, I still think it has a pivotal part to play in the grand scheme of what the MCU is going to wind up doing moving forward. I thought it was a great story arc, kind of focusing basically on both Bucky and Sam and their slew of supporting cast, the characters that we saw on there. I got to say, the one that kind of stole the show here was Zemo. Zemo was very likable.
Yeah,
He was hilarious.
He was very likable, and that was something that took me by surprise. I wanted Zemo to be like our big bad, like pulling all the strings, manipulating everybody.
You can't hate him.
but,
He's so slick, dude.
Damn, he's too slick. And he's got great dance moves. Damn it.
Boom,
Oh,
boom,
man.
boom, boom.
Mike, what about you, man? Final thoughts on the series?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you really compare it to WandaVision because they're clearly 2 different things. And it just depends on what you want out of the MCU. I think they've done a good job, especially when they got into phase 2 and 3, of really making like kind of different things. Not every movie was kind of the same things. They brought out Guardians of the Galaxy, in that second phase, which just was really such a different movie to what they had done so far. And then the sequel started coming. Winter Soldier was an MCU movie like they hadn't done before, and so I think they've done a good job. So like WandaVision was kind of a spectacle. You got into the magic. The first few episodes were TV. Those kind of fake TV shows, and then you got into the story, and there was a lot of that. and this was a much more grounded. And again, the heart of it was the stories of Sam and Bucky, and then kind of thirdly underneath was the Isaiah Bradley story, introducing that whole thing in there. So I guess it depends on what you want out of these different series or what you expect out of MCU movies in general. But like we've said several times this episode, I love the arcs for the main characters. I love the what they dealt with and how they, kind of by the end came to be more of who they really are. And, like the big thing at the end we talked about was the title card change from Falcon and Winter Soldier to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And I did hear one of the reasons they kept it Winter Soldier, even though Bucky has seemed to finally get away from that, was they just didn't want it to make it so different that people, more casual fans, I guess, were a little confused about, because White Wolf is mentioned a few times, but he's never really donned a persona as White Wolf, which is why, for me, I think it would have been better for Captain America and Bucky Barnes. But, regardless.
Just Bucky.
Yeah, or just Bucky, right.
Captain America and Bucky, and everybody would have loved it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not knocking the show for it, but it's cleaner, and everybody's, familiar with it. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Speaking of captains, we lost Captain Barbecue.
Did the grill go down? Grill down.
Yeah, the grill went down.
I'm here. The internet's spike.
Respark that fire, man. Respark that fire.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Pedal faster. Final thoughts, JC, on the series.
Good series. Great way to end it. I mean, the last whole episode is like a good climax to any MCU film you could have. And I think it was a great way for them to set up their own. This was kind of their own movie, both characters.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I love the banter between them, the buddy cop element to it at times. There he goes staring again. But I really enjoyed it. I like what it set up. I like what it set up for the future of this, because it wasn't just about them. It was where they go with this, and the Sharon Carter thing. It's very intriguing, and I'm looking forward to it. What they got next.
Yeah.
So,
man, I did not see that coming. Yeah, and that'll do it on our talk for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let us know what you thought about the show. Drop it in the comments, or you can always send us a message just by clicking the send message button on our Facebook page, or email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntogeekcast.com. Finally, I'm going to remind everyone. Finally, I'm going to remind everyone that we are giving away digital movie codes for the film Wildcat. It's a brand new film, just came out, I believe, last week, and looks exciting. A little bit of a suspenseful thriller. We're going to be giving away movie codes tonight. All you got to do to be entered into the giveaway is be sure to be a follower on our Facebook page. Comment on the stream with your most anticipated MCU Phase 4 film, and then be sure to share this video, share this stream for your friends and all that. And if they want to get in on the giveaway for a chance to win a movie code, they just got to do those things as well. So be sure to let them know. All right. Next week will be interesting, gentlemen, because we got no new movies coming out to review, comic book movies. Anyway, the show Falcon the Winter Soldier just ended. I'm thinking we need to touch up on Invincible, and I don't know if you guys are watching that yet.
No, but I've heard about it, so it seems pretty interesting.
I watched the first couple of episodes, and I just thought it was awful.
Oh,
I'm not playing, dude. I watched like one episodes 1 through 3, and I thought it was horrible. It was awful.
okay. So everybody but Joe will be on the Invincible review.
I'm gonna finish watching the series.
I need to fully catch up on Superman and Lois, and now that it's on HBO Max, it'll be a little bit easier for me. So I got to do that.
We can also bring that up because I know we haven't talked about that.
Yeah.
And Jericho wants us to. Jericho, shout out to
I
Jericho.
watched every single episode so far.
Superman and Lois?
Yep.
Wow.
I need to catch up. It's really good. Mike, I don't know if you have watched any of it yet, or
I haven't got started, but it's got Emmanuel Streaker in it, so I'll get there eventually.
It's all on HBO Max now.
Okay.
So you can just sign in and watch it. I mean, I said it soon. We talked about the first few episodes. This has a Smallville feel to it in some level.
It's really
and
good.
I think you would really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, really
So.
good. Really good. I enjoyed it. I also like Debris too. You get a chance to watch that. It's on the Peacock Network. I like that show. So interesting.
What is that again?
Debris. It's about an
Okay.
alien spacecraft that actually broke up in the Earth's atmosphere, and all these pieces are scattered all over the Earth. And you have these agents that have to go around and recover these pieces. And every time they recover a piece, it does something extraordinary. Like it'll phase through matter. It does all these weird things, and it's an interesting story, man. You gotta check it out.
Interesting.
Daniel just brought up the Michael B. Jordan movie Without Remorse, written by Tom Clancy, on Amazon Prime Video right now.
Yeah.
I've seen ads for it.
could
I might
review.
check it out. Yeah, I've seen ads for it. What was the other movie he did with Jamie Foxx that was really good? Talking about the guy that was like wrongfully imprisoned for so many years and he got him free.
Mercy?
Might have been. Yeah, I think that was it. It was based on a true story, obviously, but it was pretty powerful. And
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I might check this out. I keep seeing ads for it. Yeah. So.
Daniel, let us know if you watched it, and thumbs up or thumbs down, man. Let us know in advance.
Hey, JC, real quick, in the Superman and Lois, is there a Lex Luthor character yet? Okay, so
watch it.
Don't
Go
ruin
watch
it
it.
for
Okay.
you, man. You gotta watch it.
Just mercy. There we go, Daniel. Thank
I was just wondering if he said, "Yo, E, tell Sloan what's up." I just had to get that in there.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Just Mercy. Daniel corrected me. Just
Yeah.
Mercy. That was the movie.
Mm.
And he also said thumbs up on Without Remorse. So that's on my watch list. I got to check that out. And you know what? Just because we're all talking about what we're watching or not watching, Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch is on the History Channel. Season 2 premieres tomorrow. If you
Skywalker.
Skinwalker.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't
That'll be
know
the Star Wars
about
parody, Mike. So,
if you don't know about Skinwalker Ranch, it's a spot in northern Utah. It's a property that has the wildest, most insane extraterrestrial paranormal activities in probably almost anywhere in the globe.
The land was cursed by the native people there. So when they were driven out by the cavalry, one of the parting gifts was they're going to curse the land so nobody else would be able to inhabit it or enjoy it. So
all of
I
like
think they just cursed this. Okay.
all of like the weird, Mike, think about this. All of the weird like Mexican folklores that you and I know, like growing up as kids, or that we're afraid of, whatever. Like all of those things happen on that ranch, and then some. And they all have
The chancla comes from that ranch.
Yeah.
The chancla comes from that ranch. I'm out, dude. I'm out.
Exactly. But season 2 starts tomorrow on the History Channel. I highly recommend you watch the first season.
I watched season 1 already, so I was a fan of it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I would say I'm watching The Circle. The finales this week. It's been really good. Hell of a competition. Good social media competition if you're trying to get followers. Tina and I actually found on Paramount Plus a series called Texas 6.
Ooh.
And it follows a high school 6-man football team in a season where they're trying to three-peat as state championships. And just
nice.
Kind of the football life and just how the game's just different and how this small town feels.
Is it like Varsity Blues?
Kind of.
It's
not as
reality.
provocative. But yeah, it's a pretty cool story.
Text me that, JC. So I want to check that out.
Texas 6, just Texas number 6
okay.
on Paramount Plus, and Challenge All Stars. Ted, if you haven't watched it yet, it's really good on Paramount.
I'm
Plus.
caught up.
You're caught up. Yeah,
I'm caught up.
No,
So,
I won't spoil anything, but my front runner is still in the game, so we have to talk later on.
yeah.
By the way, we need
Come
to
on the
order
island of
those
reality. We'll
shirts.
talk about it. Yeah.
We need to order those shirts, the No Mames shirts.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for this episode of the Countdown to the Geekcast. Once again, let us know what you thought about Falcon the Winter Soldier. You still have time to be entered into the giveaway for the free digital movie codes for Wildcat. Be sure to comment with your most anticipated MCU movie, share this stream, and be sure to follow us on Facebook. For the Countdown City Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode of the Man Method Legend, you know, as JC.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. No WrestleCast this week unless WWE really starts to piss us off. We might do an impromptu episode, but we'll be back next week. We'll be back next week to preview Backlash. One final comment.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh God! Just call it Backlash. Just call it Backlash.
Yeah, I agree.
LeBron, would you just shut the hell up about the playoff format? Okay, you didn't worry about it. I'm just gonna say it right now.
He's LeBron James. He is allowed to speak on anything.
You didn't see the
speak on anything he wants. If he's bitching about the playoff format because suddenly it affects him now, hey, talk to your team about that.
JC, go check out my friend Jeff Garcia over at
what did he have to say about it?
He put a video clip of LeBron James in a phantom call. Nobody even touched him. They called a foul against the guy. They missed his elbow, missed his head, and he goes like this, like he got hit on the head and he's checking for blood. I'm like, dude, you didn't even get touched. You know?
I don't think Jordan ever did that. I'm just saying.
No, that's why there's.
That's because they would call it for Jordan without a.
Yeah, it's a big discrepancy.
One where Jordan tells him to call it and he calls it.
Yeah.
That's a discussion for another time. So, thanks for watching and listening. Appreciate it.
We also got the man behind the magic, Joe Garcia.
Thank you, everybody, for putting up with us, and please make sure that you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You know,
we just lost all the LeBron fans, by the way. And last but definitely not least, on loan from the Countdown City Cast, it's the one and only Mike.
Thanks, guys. It's always fun to be here. I always enjoy talking nerd stuff, especially Marvel, but I'll get in with the rest of it. And yeah, you know, LeBron's a great player, but he talks a lot. So what are you going to do? Be good to each other, guys.
There you go. Thanks for everybody joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Shout out to Daniel, Medris, Rudy, Ryan, everybody else who commented. Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.